Hey there, it's Maria, the self-care coach. Welcome back to my living room. Today I want to share with you the 2 things that I did to help heal my digestion that didn't cost me $1. The first thing is learning when to eat and when not to eat. And the second thing is blessing my food. So let me rewind a couple of years. I was at one point in my experience, I had a candida yeast overgrowth, a bunch of food intolerances. I was dairy-free, sugar-free, corn-free, soy-free, gluten-free. And I was desperate and looking for help. And that's when Ayurveda and essential oils entered into my life. And so in this video, I'm going to focus on the part that Ayurveda played, or these 2 things that Ayurveda taught me. One of the reasons my digestive system was so freaked out was that I was overwhelming it. I was eating breakfast pretty early in the morning, snacking throughout the day, eating lunch, snacking again, having dinner, and then having something in the evening around like 8 or 9 or 9:30. And so what was happening was I was never letting my digestive system rest, and I was forcing my body to use a lot of energy on digestion and divert that energy away from healing, repair, and detox, what would normally happen at night. So since I would eat late in the evening, it would cause my digestive system to be actively digesting and processing food instead of healing, recovering, detoxing, what it's supposed to be doing during the night when I'm asleep. So stopping that habit of eating late, I stopped eating after 7, and it didn't happen overnight, but that helped my digestive system get so much stronger because it was able to repair, rest, and my body was able to heal because it wasn't using all of its energy on digestion. So that was one thing that was huge. And the other thing was reducing my anxiety around eating through saying a blessing over my food. So I had a lot of food fears. I like to call them food fears. I had a lot of food fears because I would have reactions to food that sort of happened sort of randomly, like they would just pop up. And then I would start anticipating like, well, what is this meal gonna do? Is this gonna make me sick? Is this gonna make me sick? Is this gonna make me sick? So every time I'd sit down to eat, I'd have a little bit of worry, like what's gonna happen after it gets in my belly? And what does that lead to? More stuff happening once it gets in your belly, because our body and mind are so intimately connected. And I had this experience where when I started my studies in Ayurveda, I lived at the Himalayan Institute for a weekend during our training, and I had to eat what they were serving in the cafeteria. And at the time, I was a meat eater. Pretty much like every meal had some animal protein, whether it was from eggs or meat, chicken, or beef. And then I was also eating a bunch of veggies, but I wasn't eating any grains or legumes or sugars. So I get to the cafeteria, they're vegetarian there, so they don't prepare any animal protein. Sometimes there's eggs for breakfast. There's a bunch of legumes, a bunch of rice, all this stuff I'm not eating. There's some vegetables, so I knew I can get that, but I knew that if I wanted my mind to be clear and focused, I needed some fat and I needed some protein as well. So I took a leap of faith and started eating. I was really hungry and desperate, and I was like, you can't let your fears keep you starving. So I would eat and notice my belly felt really good. Oh, what's going on? And so I started to do some digging, what's different about this food? Because I know if I would prepare those foods, I wouldn't feel good. And so I found out that in the kitchen at the Himalayan Institute, they say a blessing, they chant, they sing, and they say a blessing over the food before they serve it to anyone. And from that, I learned how important the energy that I put into the food is when I'm preparing it, when I'm purchasing it, and when I'm eating it. So my little prayer that I adopted from then on was, thank you for this food. May it strengthen and heal me from the inside out. Every time I would eat, I would just say that. And I still say that simple little prayer. I just put my hands around my bowl and am mindful of infusing that positive energy. What I had been doing before when I'd sit down to eat was infuse negative energy, worry, fear, concern. And my food got that. It picked it up, I ate it, and it played on me. So the cool thing about that experience was it was sort of out of my control that I was forced to eat food that I didn't think would agree with me. I experienced it agree with me, and I found out what the differentiating factor was, or what one of the differentiating factors were. So I started doing that, and I noticed that I felt a little bit better after I ate, and I wasn't so anxious when I sat down. I wasn't so afraid. And so that combination, these 2 free things that take almost no time to do, well, The first one takes no time. It's like you're eating less, that's fine. And the second one is just a couple of seconds before I would put food in my mouth, I would be mindful of this blessing. They made such a big impact on my relationship to food and my body's ability to digest and my vitality and so many things. And now I'm really happy to stand before you and say I can eat almost anything. Well, I can eat anything, actually, not almost anything. And I rarely have digestive issues. So gluten is another story, and I'll talk to you about that in a different video. But these two things, totally free, totally accessible, and can be such big needle movers. So if you or someone you love is suffering from digestive issues, you're not alone, you're not crazy, and know that although you're experiencing these symptoms in a really physical, real way, our mind has so much to do with it. So my food fears had so much to do with my digestion being a mess. And that these two methods, one, physically, mechanically allowing my body to heal by not eating in the evening, and the other, shifting my sentiment in relation to food before I ate, they can make a huge difference over time. So I hope that this is helpful. If you know someone who would benefit, share it up with them. Please like or subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.